Let's record. Here we go. Hi, I'm Callie Kuntz. I'm a coach and I work at the let's try this again. I'm Callie Kuntz. I'm a coach. I work at the Pain Psychology Center, and welcome. I'm glad you guys could join me today. We're going to practice somatic tracking. It's somatic tracking for beginners. So this is designed for people who have read the book and who don't understand what they're supposed to do, or people who are in the group and we're talking about somatic tracking and you're like, okay, I kind of get it, but I'm not really sure how to do it for me. So that's what we're going to approach today, is somatic tracking from a beginner's lens. I think you guys already know that pain is a danger signal, and that one of the ways that we help reduce chronic pain is by helping our brains and central nervous systems feel safe. And there's two main ways that we can communicate safety. The first one is top down. So they're messages that we give ourselves through our thoughts, what we verbalize, what comes out of our mouths, the things we say. The other way is what we call bottom up, and it's by showing our brain that we're safe by the things that we do, by slowing down our speech, slowing down our breath, pausing during the day to just relax our bodies. Somatic tracking is another way. So there's both of these ways are effective ways of communicating safety to our brains and central nervous systems. I like to think of somatic tracking as being like show and tell. So when we were kids, we would come up to school and we would bring something from home. When we were like in first or second grade, we'd bring something from home and we'd get up in front of our class and we would show our class what we brought and we would tell them about it. Well, somatic tracking is like show and tell for your brain. We're going to show it and tell it that it's safe. Okay, so that's what we're doing with somatic tracking. There are some things that we need to know about somatic tracking to help us do a good job with it and to help it be effective. So here's some things that are important for you to know. The first thing is outcome independence. Somatic tracking is outcome independent. That means that we may get pain relief while we're somatic tracking. We may not. Our pain may get worse. It may get better. It may move. It may change. Great. And it may just sit there and stay the same. And that's fine. It doesn't matter. Outcome independence means that we know that the work that we're doing is changing how our brains are relating to our pain. We also know that we're setting down some new neural pathways. And whether or not we get a result right there in the moment, it doesn't matter. Okay? So outcome independence. First thing you need to know. Somatic tracking really is a tool, and we use this tool to disrupt the pain and fear cycle, okay? So who can do somatic tracking? Somatic tracking is, of course, fantastic if you have painful sensations in your body. It also works you can track emotions. You can track the sensation of anxiety in your body. You can track the sensation of lethargy and tiredness if you have chronic fatigue. So somatic tracking can be used for a lot of different things and for a lot of different reasons. And whenever you're dealing with a situation, a condition that is a mind-body condition, somatic tracking can usually be helpful. When can you do somatic tracking? You can do somatic tracking when your pain is about 5 or lower if you're working on your own. If you're working with a coach or therapist, then you can push that boundary a little bit. What do you do if your pain's over a 5? You do positive sensations practice, or you attend to your internal state. You do self-soothing activities. So somatic tracking works best when your pain is a 5 or lower. Otherwise, what you risk is that you're going to reinforce the notion that pain is dangerous. So that's why we think that somatic tracking works best 5 and below, okay? You can also somatic track any time of day or night. You can somatic track in the middle of the night. If you can stay outcome independent, okay, you can somatic track in the morning. Lots of times when people start to recover, then they have to start looking for more opportunities to do somatic tracking because they feel better. And so, whenever your pain is in that right range, if you have an opportunity, it's great to have what we call a corrective experience through somatic tracking. Where? Where should I do my somatic tracking? You can do your somatic tracking any place where you feel safe and where you're not going to be interrupted. When you're a beginning somatic tracker, you're going to be doing shorter somatic trackings, but as you get more experienced, it may go as long as 8 to 10 minutes. Okay. So you want to be in a space where you feel safe and where you're not going to be interrupted. You can be sitting up, you can be laying down, you can be standing up, you can also be moving. You can do somatic tracking while you're walking. And sometimes this is called graded exposure, especially if you have discomfort when you're moving your body. So we'll talk about graded exposure another time. We're not going to do any today, but there's all kinds of ways that you can do somatic tracking. Let's see. What are the three parts of somatic tracking? So if you've read The Way Out, you know that there's three main components to somatic tracking. There's mindfulness, which is just putting yourself in a nice meditative and relaxed state. Okay. The second part is safety reappraisal, and that is looking at your uncomfortable sensations through a lens of safety and not fear. Okay. And the third part is what we call positive affect induction. And positive affect induction means that you're going to do somatic tracking with a nice positive mindset. You're going to do it with lightness, with ease. You're not going to be intense about it. You're going to be very chill. Okay. So it's going to be like you're riding along as a passenger in a car and you're just looking out the window and watching the scenery go by. That's the kind of mental energy you're going to bring to somatic tracking. It's actually the mental energy you bring is more important than the amount of time that you do or the type of sensation you track. Okay, energy and approach and attitude is probably the most important thing. Most important thing when you're doing beginning somatic tracking. Okay, the other thing to keep in mind is that if you are a person who has who's very lighthearted, like you've probably heard Alan be, then telling yourself little jokes and being kind of goofy when you're somatic tracking, that's great. If you're more like me, my personality is not one that I tend to be a person who is centered in a ton of humor. And so I just try to just keep myself light, my energy light, and stay curious. Sometimes I'll use what's called a somatic smile. And a somatic smile just means that you have this little Mona Lisa smile on your face. And by having a smile, this little, it actually communicates again to your brain that you're safe, everything's okay. So it's not this big smile, it's just a nice somatic smile. Okay. Another thing that you can do is have a picture of something that makes you smile or makes you feel lighthearted. I have a picture of my dog on my phone. And so if I need something to kind of make me kind of have a little happy thought or happy feeling, I can look at that while I'm somatic tracking as well. Okay. So those are the three components of somatic tracking. Like I said, when you're just beginning, you're going to start small. Now, a lot of people ask me, Callie, should I do a guided somatic tracking or should I do somatic tracking for myself? And I have feelings about this. I think guided somatic tracking is awesome if you're just getting started, especially if you don't know how it should sound or look or how it should feel. A guided somatic tracking is great. Um, some of them that are out there tend to be a little bit too long, in my opinion, for new people. But if it helps you, then do it. Okay. I'm going to have a class here in a few weeks on how to write your own somatic tracking script and record your own somatic tracking exercise so that you can record somatic tracking is more tailored for you, because sometimes the generic ones that are out there really aren't tailored for you and what your needs are. And some of you may find that you need to do some adaptations to somatic tracking in order to make it work for you. And that's what the next session will be about, is how to adapt somatic tracking for special needs. Okay. Um, the other thing with recorded somatic tracking is that not everybody follows the same kind of protocol as Alan does. So when you follow somebody else's somatic tracking, they may encourage you to somatic track when your pain is high. And that would be contrary to uh, pain reprocessing therapy and how we do somatic tracking at the Pain Psychology Center. Um, I also think that it's really powerful to learn how to do somatic tracking on your own, because you can be really flexible about how long you breathe, how long you spend looking at the sensation. You can somatic track for 30 seconds, or you can somatic track for 10 minutes. So you have a lot more flexibility when you somatic track on your own. A lot of people who are just starting somatic tracking will just do a very brief check in, look at the sensation, and check out again. That's all they do. And that's fine. It's a great way to start. So, what's next? Well, I'm going to do two things. I'm going to, first of all, demonstrate what a short somatic tracking might look like for someone who's just getting started. That's going to be the first thing I'm going to do. The next thing I'm going to do after I do that is I'm going to lead you all in a somatic tracking exercise that's longer. It will be the kind of somatic tracking exercise that I do with my clients when I'm working with them one-on-one. This will give you an idea of what a beginner exercise looks like. It would also give you an idea, then the second one will give you an idea of what it might look like as you somatic track for longer, or if you somatic track with a partner. Okay. I think that it is not a bad idea, if you want to find somebody else in the group to practice with and somatic track with each other. So take turns leading each other. Not everybody can afford to have a coach or a therapist who works with them and who can somatic track one-on-one with them. So there are other ways to get around that. When I very first started, I formed a little group with two other women, and we somatic tracked together with each other. And we had a wonderful time practicing and learning the skills and the tools of PRT. All right. So first thing, I'm going to demonstrate what it might look like if I were a beginner and I'm going to do a somatic tracking. All right. So remember, mindfulness, positive affect induction, and safety reappraisal. And I'm going to say out loud, because you're watching me, I'm going to say out loud what I normally would probably not say out loud, that I would just be thinking in my mind, right? Okay. So first thing I like to do is just get comfortable wherever I am. And I like to somatic track actually with my eyes shut. That's my preference, but you don't have to. You can somatic track with your eyes open if that's your thing. Okay. We want you to feel safe. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to ground myself. I'm going to ground myself in this chair. I'm going to make sure that my back is well supported. I'm going to check, make sure my shoulders are relaxed. I'm going to make sure my jaw and face is relaxed. I'm going to check my back. I'm going to make sure my body feels safe and supported in the chair. I'm going to put my feet flat on the floor so I feel grounded. All of these things are individual, but I think that it's really important, if you're going to do a mindfulness exercise, that you feel safe and supported. Okay. All right. I'm going to close my eyes now. And I'm going to start by taking just a few nice breaths. There's no right or wrong way to breathe when we do this. We're just going to breathe in a way that feels comfortable. When I feel ready and relaxed, I'm going to turn my attention to a sensation in my body. And today I have been shoveling snow. And so my left shoulder just feels a little wonky, a little tight. So that's where I'm going to go and turn my attention. And I'm just going to look at it with some curiosity. What's going on in there? So when I visualize it, it looks just a little bit pink and tender to me. And I can feel a throb, just doing a little throbbing pain. And it's not a fast throb, it's just a slow, steady throb in my neck and left shoulder. And the sensation is most intense at the front of my neck and right where my neck meets my shoulder. And it looks to me, if I visualize it, it looks pink and round. And when it throbs, it bobs. It kind of bobs up and down. That's really curious. I always find it interesting, the kinds of sensations that my brain can come up with and how it looks and feels. Right now, it's not moving. It's pretty much stationary and it's just staying where it is. All right. So, because I'm a beginner, I'm just going to be happy with what I've seen and experienced. I've looked at it with some curiosity. I'm not afraid of it. It's just a sensation and it's just temporary. It's not going to be here forever. I'm going to turn my attention now back to my breath. I'm going to take a few inhales and exhales. Hmm. And I'm going to open my eyes. And that's what a beginning practice could look like. Okay. Yours may look a little bit different because you're different and your situation is different from mine. But that's generally what a beginning somatic tracking sensation looks like, or session looks like. Sorry. Are there any questions that you guys want to put in the chat right now? If there are, I'd be happy to take a few. I'll wait a minute while you type if you have some. Um, and if you guys don't, I will move on to leading you in a somatic tracking exercise. Oh, here's a question. It says, I'm going to get my glasses on because that would be really helpful for me. If you're somatic tracking for insomnia, do you focus on where you feel tired? Oh, that's a good question. When I wake up in the night, usually I'm awake for a couple of different reasons. The first reason I wake up is because I have a busy brain. And the second reason I wake up is because I have pain. Um, so if I'm waking up because I have pain in my body, I somatic track the sensation. If I'm waking up because I have busy brain, I actually do something a little bit different. I take a minute to do a thanks for the feedback. When I wake up because of insomnia, because I have like a busy brain, I usually do a brain dump. I keep a pen and paper by my bedside and I just record, okay, what's keeping my brain going. And then I usually will turn my attention to something else. Sometimes I'll do a really easy Sudoku or I'll get up and work on a puzzle or something like that. Insomnia itself, unless you have a sensation like anxiety, you can certainly, if you feel a sensation in your body, you can certainly track that. Okay. So if you are feeling like, is there a way I can move this? I can. Oh, look at me. So if you're feeling a sensation in your body, by all means, track that. But most of the time, when I wake up, it's because my brain's and that is also a form of anxiety. So just track the sensation. What would the words be for fatigue? That's a really good question. Lots of times the words for fatigue are, I feel heavy here. I feel weight here. I feel tiredness in my feet. My feet feel like, a lot of people will say, my feet feel like bricks. Or so, really, if you're not a visual person, sometimes somatic tracking can be a bit of a challenge if you're trying to give visual um, words to it. So you can also use sounds, or you could just describe the sensation. Okay. But that's a little bit trickier for sure. I agree. Fatigue's a little harder. And like I said, when I lead, make sure my voice doesn't drop. Yeah, that's a big challenge for me. Even my clients complain about it. So it's not unusual. I have a low voice anyway, and also a raspy voice. So people tell me I should do sleep tracks. I should record sleeping tracks. I could put people to sleep. Any others? Any other questions for right now? Okay. All right. I'm going to close the chat for right now, and I will endeavor to lead you without getting too quiet. There's a fine line because you don't want me to be loud, right, and disruptive, but at the same time, you want to be able to hear me. All right. So let's just find a nice place where you're not going to be disturbed for a few minutes and get comfortable. Feel free to lay down if you want to, sit up, stand up, whatever feels good for you. And I want you to just ground yourself in the space where you are. Make sure you feel safe in the space and make sure that you feel grounded. Okay. So if you're sitting, you want the chair to support your back, support your legs. Okay. When you're comfortable, I'd like you to take some time and just breathe. We're going to start with breathing, and we're going to keep our breath comfortable. If you like to breathe deeply, great. If you like to breathe shallow, that's fine too. I want you to breathe however it feels good in your body. Some people enjoy the sensation of breath coming in and out. And if that's you, you can focus on that. You can also, if your mind wanders, you can count the sensation. You can count 3 in and 3 out, or 4 in, 4 out, or 4 in and 6 out. Doesn't matter. So I just want you to relax. Close your eyes if you feel like closing your eyes, or leave them open. And just breathe. Relax your body. We're going to do a quick scan. We'll start at our head and go down the length of our bodies. And we're going to check to see if there's anything that feels tight. So we're going to start with our eyes. We want soft eyes and a soft jaw. Check your tongue. Make sure it's nice and relaxed in your mouth. Going to move down our neck. You can move your head a little bit if you want to make sure your neck is nice and relaxed. Going to check our shoulders. You can roll them a little bit if you need to. Going to check our hands and make sure they're nice and relaxed. Going to go down our bodies and check our lower back. Is it nice and relaxed? Going to check to make sure our buttocks are unclenched. Legs are relaxed. Go down to our feet and check them, make sure they're not clenched and that our toes aren't curled. We just want to be as relaxed and comfortable as we can be right now. When you're ready, I'd like you to turn your attention to a sensation in your body. I want you to remember that the sensation is safe. It can't hurt you. It's just a sensation. I'd like you to look at the sensation from a place of curiosity and interest. I'd like you to look at it like you're a little bit distant from it. I don't want you to get too close mentally. I want you to keep a nice, safe distance. It's like watching fish swim in an aquarium or like watching fire in a fireplace. Just watching it with a little bit of detachment, but mostly with curiosity. It's perfectly safe. The sensation can't hurt your body. It's just a sensation, and you are fine. Good. Keep watching it. As you watch it, describe it to yourself. Does it have a sound? Does it have a shape? Does it have a texture? What does it look like? Some people could see colors, others can't. That's fine. You're doing a great job. What does the sensation feel like? Is it stationary? Is it moving? Is it changing at all? Has your attention moved to a different part of your body? If it has, that's okay. If your mind wanders, just bring it back. I'm going to keep watching. If the sensation becomes too intense, take a break and go back to your breath. You can go back to your breath and anchor yourself and bring your attention back. Keep watching, keep looking. What's it doing now? Feel yourself getting a little intense. Put on that little Mona Lisa smile and just relax because you are safe. The sensation can't hurt you because it's just a sensation. It's just your brain perceiving a normal sensation as dangerous when it's not. It's not dangerous. Your muscles are fine. Your tendons are fine. It's just a sensation. When you're ready, I'd like you to turn your attention back to your breath. So say goodbye to the sensation that you've been watching and turn your attention back to the even, steady rhythm of your breathing. And just relax your body. Give yourself lots of thoughts of praise and recognition for doing this somatic tracking exercise. Tell yourself that you did a great job because you did. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Okay. Nice work. I hope everybody enjoyed that. And that you got to feel a little bit what it feels like and what it sounds like and what it looks like to do somatic tracking. The next time we meet, I'll talk more about the what ifs. What if I have trouble with this? Or what if I can't do that? Or what if this happens or that happens? We'll talk about that and how to adapt it so that it's more personal for you. The beauty of somatic tracking is that you can make it so that it's something that is pleasant and individual for you. You don't have to do it any certain way. There's no hard, fast rules other than you're going to look at the sensations in your body from a place of safety. Okay. So let's open up that chat again and see what's going on. See if you have some questions. All right. That was amazing. Had a few times when I felt really flushed or warm. Yeah, sometimes that happens, doesn't it? It's really interesting the things that your brain will do and the sensations that your brain will give you, trying to get your attention, right? Awesome. Cool. What else? Anybody else have any questions or thoughts? One of the things that was hard for me when I first started somatic tracking was that I didn't have low pain states at all. My pain was always high. And so somatic tracking was really hard for me. So I started out doing positive sensations practice and probably did that for the first 6 months. So my recovery lasted just a little over a year. I still wake up in pain sometimes, but most of the time I feel good. 95% better for sure. But I started out with positive sensations practice because I couldn't do somatic tracking without getting sucked into it. So it required me working with a coach to learn how to do it. So if you're struggling with it, that's okay. It may take you a while. All right. What if there's several different places and they're all related and they're in your back? Ooh, as a fibromyalgia person, I had like 15 or 20 trigger points in my back. So I totally know what you're talking about. There's I think this is my personal belief that it's fine if you are really focused on a spot or an area, and then say you're focused up here and then over here gets your attention. Okay, go over there. Okay, look at that. If you get distracted to a different spot, you have the option of going to the new place and just looking there, or you can kind of guide your attention back to where you were before. Either one is fine. That work. Either one works. Loved it. Would you consider putting the tracking portion on your YouTube channel? Yeah, I'm going to put the whole thing on my YouTube channel, although I think I'm going to have to edit out that first part because I sound like a little dumb, but we'll, we'll figure that. I'll put the recording, the link to my YouTube channel and this recording in the chat for in the comment section of the post for this session. I'll put it there. Okay. It's also in the post from the last section or the last session if you look there. Okay. You're so hard on yourself. The whole thing was to yes, that's the whole thing about being a chronic pain person is that a lot of us have personality traits, and many of us, especially people with fibromyalgia, are highly self-critical, perfectionists. Yeah, but you're very kind. Thank you. And so you're right. Even people like me who do this for a living still have to watch the messages that we give ourselves. My sensations moved around. Thank you for doing these. Oh, you're very welcome. So the next session I'll probably do next week. So if you're interested, I'll put up a post. I'm going to probably try to do it in the morning, my time, which will again influence everything. If there is a time of day that works best for you, feel free to put that in there. I do my best to kind of spread it around so that I meet as many needs as possible. But there are some time zones, especially those that are flip-flop from mine in the United States, that are really hard, especially those that are like 12, 13, 14 hours different. They're hard because I'm asleep when you're awake, right? And because I'm a chronic pain patient myself, I have to take care of my body and my mental health. And so sleep is super important. So it's not good for me to be up at 1 a.m. doing somatic tracking with you. So I apologize that that's a little bit of a limitation, but it is what it is. Any other questions before I sign off? Thanks, you guys, for joining me. It was a pleasure working with you, and it's a pleasure having you in our Facebook group. Would I be available for private sessions? I work for the Pain Psychology Center, and I rarely take clients out of that organization because it's hard to arrange for payment, so on and so forth. And also, if you go through Pain Psychology Center, then there's an intake process. There's also protections for the client as well. So if you do want to work with me, you can contact the Pain Psychology Center and just say, I'd like to work with Callie. And right now, I am taking a few clients because I just graduated, like 5. And so I'm like, yoo-hoo, people are feeling better. Yay. But then it's like, okay, now I need to go get some more clients. So I am taking a few new clients right now. So it's a good time to ask for me if you want to. Okay. So yeah, Pain Psychology Center. All right. Well, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for joining me. And I'll post this on my YouTube, hopefully tonight. All right. I got it.